This summer may look a little bit different for bill payers in the UK as household energy prices will fall by 7% from July, Ofgem has confirmed. Now, it's the first time there's been a drop in more than a year. Now, joining me to talk through this change with us is consumer expert and broadcaster Martin Lewis. Martin, we've got to be mildly happy, haven't we, this morning?
Look, we will always welcome a drop in the price cap. It dictates the price 65% of homes in England, Scotland and Wales pay, all those who aren't on a fix or aren't on a special deal. But let's put it in context. The price cap went up 10% in October. It went up 1% in January. It went up 6% in April. So a cut of 7% basically just takes us back to where we were at the beginning of the year. And if you contrast how much people will pay for this summer price cap, which is July, August and September, they will still be paying 10% more this summer than they were last summer. So while it's welcome, it's nothing to write home about.
So why has this cap decreased then?
Well, the biggest factor that feeds into Ofgem's energy price cap is wholesale energy rates, specifically wholesale gas rates. And we have seen those drop down. So in practice, what we're going to see happen here is you're going to see both the standing charge and the unit rate of the price cap for electricity dropping by about 4.5% to 5%, and the standing charge and the unit rate for gas dropping by about 8.5% to 9%. So in practice, what's going to happen to people's pockets? The best way to explain this is, on average, for every £100 you spend now on energy, from July, you will be spending £93. But actually, if you've got gas and electricity, it might be around £92 on average. If you're electricity only, it might be £94 on average, because gas prices are dropping more than electricity prices within the cap. That's the main thing that's going on, and that's what will dictate the price cap going forward. So if we start to look to the future, where will it go in October? Where will it go in January and April next year? Now, there's crystal ball gazing there, because with the worldwide economy moving as it is, especially with Trump in the White House, that's volatility defined. The current predictions are in October, it may go down a little bit more, between 0 and 4%, depending on which analyst you look at. And then in January, it might go up again slightly. And in April, it might go up 2 or 3%. So you've had a 7% drop in July, maybe a bit down in October, and then a bit up in January, a bit up in April. But essentially, the current predictions, and it's somewhat crystal ball gazing, the current predictions, it's going to stay roughly where it is in July. What's important to note is the cheapest fixes available right now are 18% below the current price cap. So if you were to lock in on a fixed rate now, you're going to save more quickly, because you don't have to wait till July to get a saving. You're going to save more, as long as you're on a cheap fix, than the July price cap. And if the predictions are right, you're going to save more for the whole year ahead, which means the risk-averse things to do now is to get off what I call the pants cap. And if you can, which you can't if you're on prepayment, but if you can, then to lock in on the cheapest fix you can get via going to a whole of market comparison site.
Martin, you just answered all my questions all in one go there, but
sorry about that.
I'm gonna take you back ever so slightly, so you may repeat yourself a little bit, but does this help everyone? Is this across the board?
I mean, this only affects those people who are on a standard tariff, the default tariff, the tariff that you go to if you haven't switched. So no, certainly those on fixes won't save. I mean, I think it's important to understand exactly what the price cap is. It was set up originally to be a backstop for those people who were unable or unwilling to switch. So there'd be a guarantee their price would never be too high. Unfortunately, in the energy crisis, the lack of competition meant that the price cap effectively became a regulated price that we all pay. And even now, 65% of homes are on a price cap tariff, a standard tariff. And while it's called a cap, well, let's be honest, almost every firm goes to the maximum. So it's really the regulator setting a fixed price for standard tariffs. So if you're on it, I call the price cap a pants cap, because over the last year, at every single point, you would have been better off moving to the cheapest fix compared to staying on the price cap. And if you look where we are right now, with the price cap dropping by 7%, but the cheapest fix is 18% below the current price cap. And that price cap, while it's predicted to drop a little bit more in October, crystal ball gazing, though, anything could happen, especially with Trump in the White House, which is the definition of economic volatility. Well, It's then going to go up in January and probably up in April, according to current predictions, if they're right. But if you're fixed now, you're locked in at 18% cheaper. So while it's not guaranteed a fix will be cheaper, because anything could happen, on the huge balance of probabilities, the risk-averse move and likely the move that will save you most is to get onto a comparison site and lock yourself in to a cheap fix now.
So lots of people have made that shift to fix in recent months because that obviously wouldn't help them in this situation. Was that then a mistake? But obviously you're kind of hailing the virtues of fixed.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, people were fixing at, I've actually put something out on social media, which is a graph of the cheapest fixes over the last year. People have been fixing at well below the July price cap. Of course, the price cap coming down in July, if you fixed at 20% below the current price cap, for example, then you're currently saving 20%. When the price cap drops by 7%, you'll only be saving 13% compared to the current price cap. But at every point, every cheapest fix you've done over the last year is very substantially below what you will be paying in July. So you will be saving in virtually every case if you got the cheapest fix compared to the July price. And when you look at it in the entirety, that if you fixed 6 months ago, you've been saving already. And if you fix right now, you'll save for a month and a half over current prices. And then if you're fixing now, you'll know it'll be cheaper than July because you'd lock in at 18% cheaper. And that's well cheaper than July. Fixing is both risk averse and has proved to be the cheapest method over the last year. And I suspect it will continue to do so over the next year.
Right, so it's summertime. This is coming in summertime. Heating's off. Just specify again how long this cap will last. We've got to hope that it's, presumably will last when we actually really benefit.
No, the price cap moves every 3 months. It used to move every 6 months. I campaigned against dropping it to a 3-monthly move, but the regulator didn't listen. So this cap will last for July, August and September. The current hope is it will drop again slightly in October, but not by very much. And then in January, it might start to go up slightly, and the following April start to go up again. But if the current predictions are right, there are 5 major analysts all doing predictions based on their thoughts of where wholesale rates will go. It's not going to come down very much in October, and it's not going to go up very much in January. So the price it moves to in July is probably roughly going to be where it stays if those predictions are right. Whereas, as I've mentioned, the cheapest fixes are 18% below the current price cap. The July price cap is only 7% below the current price cap.
So overall, Martin, what's your advice to consumers today? Be happy, don't crank up the heating too high, but get onto a fixed rate.
Yeah, if you possibly can, get off the pants cap and get yourself onto a cheap fix.
Thank you very much, Martin.